r/ask Reddit. What's the stupidest thing someone's been mad at you for? Wife had a dream that I kicked our dog. Was still mad at me when she woke up. We don't even have a dog. I learned if I have a sex dream not involving the so, to shut my stupid mouth. Why would I tell her? What did I have to gain? That was a fight for at least a week. Me. Hey, could you grab the laptop on your way in? Her. Why don't you ask so and so to grab it? Clearly that's what you want, you jackass. Me. Sigh. Dot. I'm such a ducking idiot. I always tell my BF when I have sexy dreams about someone else. Because for some reason, it's never someone I'd want to dream about. For instance, last week, I had a sexy dream about Abraham Lincoln. Hi, he was a total jerk to me in the dream. 2. Not cool. Bro. Ex-boyfriend once screamed at me, "There's nothing more I hate in this world than when you drink your tea cold." I burst out laughing. But he was serious. British, I take it? Nope, just a slow drinker. She was mad at me for being mad at her for trying to manipulate me. Ah yes, I hate it when they try and flip it. The old "I'm angry because you foiled my plan, you jerk" mood. About 14 years ago, I caught a girl I was dating for about 6 months blowing some guy in a bedroom at a party we went to. I walked in, saw her and said, "Well, we're pretty much done." Turned and walked out. I was walking out of the house and she chased me down. She started yelling at me that it was my fault I caught her and I shouldn't be mad because she was trying to hide it. My wife and I had her as a waitress last year and she's still mad at me. She walked to our table, saw it was me and walked off. About 2 minutes later a different person was our server. Edit. To answer a few questions below, I assumed she was still mad because when she looked at me she just glared and walked away. It was one of the worst looks I've ever received from any person in my life. The replacement server did a fantastic job. Didn't ask anything about the girl and I did tip pretty well. And the food was fine. It was a pretty nice place and I wasn't worried about her ruining her job there over it. I had been told the servers there can make over $500 a night on tips. I'd call that a win. Poetic justice. Was good friends with a girl once. Nothing ever happened between us. Just straight up close friends. One year her birthday rolls around and I was so busy running around doing errands and this and that I just got caught up and forgot to call her to say happy birthday. She never spoke to me again and stopped returning my calls. Ironic part is to this day I still remember her birthday. The 12th of August. Hey Colleen, if you're reading this you're done. It devastated Colleen's whose birthday is the 12th of August. You're all duns. That's my mom's name and her birthday is the 12th of August. Please tell me you aren't 50 years old. I told my 2-year-old she can't have a candy when she woke up at 4 in the morning. Bro, oppressive control freak. Much? Next you're going to tell her she can't move to Wonderland. Open bracket. That's super adorable though RLY. To be fair, she went to sleep mad because I didn't let her go to bed with her princess dress over her pajamas and wouldn't let her put on lipstick and nail polish. I've told this story before, but I once had an ex get furious at me for being white. She liked me, but my not being Chinese was causing a lot of friction with her parents. Clever fellow that I am. I promised her that if she gave me another chance, I'd never be white again. You be wrong? It was a clear case of being white when I needed to be wrong. My ex being replaced by my new girlfriend after 9 months apart. She left me for someone else. Ah yes. Drive people mad with this one simple ex-wife trick. I have never been hurt so badly by a man in my entire life. Screaming and crying when she found out I had a new girlfriend. She had left me after ducking a co-worker at her Christmas party. Then a week after her rant she entered into a relationship with one of my buddies from school, with whom she had apparently been in love since I introduced them 7 years earlier. Relationship counselors hate her. I wonder if sometimes relationship counselors just go, "No, it's not the other person's fault at all. It's your fault. You're insane." When one person is just horrible, I'm thinking they're probably not allowed to do that. Edit TL. Doctor for comments below. Yes they do. At my graduation I thought it was odd that I didn't see my mother in the audience. Afterwards when we are taking pictures she comes up, screaming at me. Apparently I left only one set of directions and my grandma took them. And it was my fault she didn't write them down or take a copy. She made a huge scene over that in the middle of a huge crowd. Edit. Holy shit, bro. My most upvoted comment is on my mom's tantrum. I'd like to add I don't believe my mom is a narcissist. She was very unstable following my father's death, with many emotional issues and substance and alcohol abuse problems. At that event though she was sober, just very angry. She apologized later saying she was trying to get me a graduation gift at the last minute. Last minute mom. Typical. And when she went to the house my grandma had left with the directions. By the time she called around, found out where the graduation was and found it was over. She exploded at me and made me want to shrink into the earth. We are good now, though. She has worked through many issues and no longer relies on sleeping meds. She has 3 Dachshunds, Oscar, Vienna and Cindy Lou. The end. Dude, my mom used to do this shit to me all the time. Whenever it wasn't about her she would constantly humiliate and embarrass us, my family, in public by causing scenes, starting fights, acting all dramatic. Sometimes I miss her, but I remember shit like this, and the burning embarrassment I can still feel on my cheeks, and remind myself why I'm better off without her in my life. Edit. Holy Jesus, I was not expecting this much support and empathy. If anyone ever wants to talk, PM me. My story was horrid and I feel everyone's pain out there where you're terrified of becoming that person one day. But I always tell myself, if I acknowledge something is wrong with that behavior, that's enough for me to realize that I won't go down that path. I'll share a quick story. My mom accused me of being every curse word in the book you can think of because I declined wanting to wear more of her makeup to my junior prom. She kicked me out of the house, told me I looked like trash, made fun of all my friends, and this was all 2 hours before we were supposed to all meet up to hop into the limo. She slammed her bedroom door and refused to talk to anyone. My dad had my back instantly. They are now divorced, and took me to my prom because she wanted nothing to do with me. The next day she picked me up from a friend since I had nowhere to go and hit me while screaming bloody murder in her car because, get this, I left without her to prom. Later in life I was explained to by my father that her qualms with me were her jealousies for things she never got to do in life, i.e., go to prom, college. But, to fathom that your mother envies you just doesn't cross a 15-year-old's mind. Edit X2. To whoever gave me the gold, thank you. I wish it could have been a better story to receive gold for, but all your amazing feedback and stories that have flooded my inbox today has completely distracted me from my work just to talk to everyone here about all your experiences. Much love. You guys are making me tear up. You all should check out r/race@narcissists. They are a community of people who commiserate over selfish and manipulative parents. You'd be surprised how common this is. Several years ago, a neighbor slashed the tires on my car because I wouldn't loan him $20 to buy a decorative neon skull for his fish tank. Edit. Wow. Quite the response to my tire slashing incident story. He replaced the slashed tires the next day. Where and how he got them will have to remain a mystery. I didn't ask and he didn't volunteer that info. There were no issues with him the rest of the time I lived there, and I'd never had any trouble with him before. Did you call the cops? It was the people across the street that saw him do it. He'd slashed 3 tires before they realized what was going on and shouted at him to stop. He ran to his house and one of the guys that saw him do it came over and told me. I confronted the tire slasher and told him either I'd call the police and let them do their thing, or he could just buy me new tires and I'd leave the law out of it. He went with the latter. Sister's kid is walking down my hall with his pants around his feet shuffling. I go, Shane, you are going to fall, pull your pants up. Apparently I was trying to discipline her kid and override her authority. I was at a funeral once, and my young niece was running around, jumping off of tombstones, grabbing flowers on top of other graves and throwing them in the air. When I went over to try and calm her down, my sister-in-law got so mad at me that she hasn't talked to me in over a year. But, that's kind of a win. Your niece is just trying to put the fun back in funeral. On a serious note, you were right to try and sedate her. Her actions were appalling and disrespectful. I'm sure other people were grateful that someone said something. failing to thank them for blessing me when I sneezed. Oh man. This has happened to me many times. I hate that so much. You're only blessing me for a stupid thank you. Then duck your blessing. Keep it. I told a girl I work with that I really liked her haircut. I told her I had been thinking of getting something similar done. Later I hear her talking to my other co-workers about me, calling me a copycat and saying that it genuinely pisses her off when people copy her. Some people project their egos, fantasies, and illusions of grandeur into their hair. I'm bald. So you mirror everyone? Ducking copycat. For getting defensive. Because I was being accused. I was being accused of something I didn't do. Wouldn't anyone get defensive? Now I'm mad at you. Well, I'm mad at you. My 5-year-old nephew kicked my 3-year-old daughter in the face. It was not an accident. We were all standing there when he did it. I said, just kicked in the face. Sil started screaming at me, gathered up her kids and left all while her husband stood there looking confused and my daughter cried in pain. She has not spoken to me in several months because of this incident. Sounds like that's the good news. I've had extended family do similar things. Some people don't ever want to admit it if their kid does something bad, even if it happens right in front of them. My wife's cousin's kid, 13 at the time, kicked our dog in the head with just about the whole family watching. No reason. He walked over to him like he was gonna pet him and then kicked him instead. The mom of course tried say he was playing around and then tried to blame the dog. Then packed up and stormed off yelling and screaming. We told her to keep her kind in line and away from our dog. When someone thinks you said something and asks you what you said but you didn't say anything, they then proceed to get mad at you when you tell them you said nothing because they think you said something bad about them. Or when your boss tells you she definitely sent you that email or definitely gave that back to you, and then when you tell her politely she didn't, she gets all frustrated. Then 5 minutes later she sends you the email or gives you the thing you asked for. Ugh. Sorry, I'm at work. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.